It's 3 in the morning and the world is silent, but your mind is loud. You're staring at the ceiling, and instead of sleep, you're watching a movie. It's a movie of a conversation you had 8 hours ago. You see the look on their face again. You hear the exact tone of your own voice. You find that one sentence, the one you wish you could reach back in time and catch before it left your lips. You edit the scene, replacing your awkward pause with a witty comeback. You scan their expression for a hint of judgment you might have missed in real time. To anyone else, this looks like overthinking, or perhaps a lack of confidence, but it's actually something much deeper. It is your brain performing a high-stakes simulation to keep you safe. Why does our mind refuse to let the day go? Why do we treat a casual coffee chat like a crime scene that needs investigating? If you spend your nights replaying the tapes of your life, I want you to know you aren't broken, you aren't obsessive, and you aren't crazy. This behavior makes perfect sense when you look at how your brain handles the world. Your mind is a brilliant, tireless guardian. It is replaying these moments because it thinks it's protecting you. It's trying to solve a puzzle it believes is essential for your survival. Think about how this feels after a long day at work or a social gathering. You walk through your front door and finally have a moment of quiet. That's when the editor takes over. This is often about identity protection. We have a specific image of ourselves that we want to project to the world. When we feel like we've slipped even by a fraction, our brain goes into damage control. It's trying to reconcile the perfect version of us with the human version that just spoke. Maybe you remember a time in school when you said the wrong thing and felt the cold sting of social rejection. Your brain cataloged that pain. Now, it replays conversations to ensure that never happens again. It's checking for cracks in the armor. By re-examining the dialogue, you're trying to verify that you're still okay in the eyes of others. It was once a survival skill to be hyper-aware of your standing in the tribe. Today, it's just your brain doing its old job in a modern world. Then there is the element of predictability. The world is chaotic, and people are hard to read. When you replay a conversation, you're seeking emotional safety. This shows up most often when we deal with people who feel unpredictable to us. If you grew up around people whose moods shifted like the wind, you learned to be a detective. You learned to listen for the subtext, hidden meanings, and the subtle shifts in atmosphere. Now, as an adult, you might find yourself dissecting a simple "see you later" from a boss or a partner. You're looking for the hidden why behind their words. You're trying to gain a sense of control over an interaction that is already past. If you can figure out exactly what happened, you feel like you can predict what will happen next. It's a way of creating a map for a territory that feels dangerously uncertain. But here is the part nobody tells you. The brain has one more trick here: the alternative reality trap. When you replay a conversation and change what you said, your brain actually gets a small fake hit of relief. For a split second, the simulation feels more real than the memory. And this is where it gets interesting. We don't just replay the bad parts, we replay the could-have-beens. As we move through different stages of life, this replaying changes its shape. When you are young, you might replay conversations out of a desperate need to fit in. You're looking for the rules of the social game. But as you get older, the replaying often shifts towards a search for meaning. You start to replay moments not to see if they liked you, but to see if you were true to yourself. The mechanism is the same, but the heart behind it has matured. At its core, this mental loop is a form of emotional regulation. It acts as a buffer between you and the raw intensity of the world. Think of it like an old friend who stays up late with you to talk through your problems. It's a way to restore control when you feel like you've been swept away by social currents. Replaying a conversation is like returning to a familiar room. In that room, you are the director. You can slow down the pace, dim the lights, and examine the details at your own speed. It reduces the mental load of the unknown by turning it into the studied. It's an anchor. In the chaos of human interaction, the replay gives you a solid ground to stand on. Even if the memory is uncomfortable, it is at least something you can hold on to. It's your mind's way of saying, "I've got this. I'm looking at it. We're working on it." It's a quiet, private effort to make sense of the complicated dance of being human. There is no need to fight the movie in your head. You don't need to fix the way your mind processes the day. The fact that you replay your life means you care deeply about your place in the world. It means you value your connections and your integrity. It's a sign of a mind that is sensitive, observant, and profoundly alive. You aren't trapped in a loop. You are just a person trying to understand the echoes of the day. When you find yourself back in that theater at 3 a.m., try to look at the editor with kindness. They are just trying to keep you safe. They are just trying to make sure you're okay. The conversation is over. The words have landed, and the world is still turning. You are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to have said the wrong thing. You are allowed to be a work in progress. It's okay to let the tape run until it reaches the end and the screen goes dark. You have done enough for today. Your mind can rest now. Would you like me to write a script about the psychology of people who struggle to accept compliments?